This program contains 100% of the recommended daily allowance of thrills, spills, and pulse-pounding action. If you're on medication, take it now.
The big wheels keep on turning. I'm Luann Lee, and welcome to Monster Wars. This is your weekly chance to experience the thrills, chills, and spills of Monster Truck mega action. There was plenty of that last week in an out-of-control battle in the Houston Astrodome. Invader put on a wild show for the fans, but an energized Equalizer just kept going and going and going to win the finals. So here's our Monster Point standings thus far this season. Gravedigger stays in first place, with Equalizer coming on strong thanks to his victory last week. Bearfoot rounds out our top three, but Taurus is just one Monster Point behind. Any one of those trucks can grab first place by the end of today's competition. Now you can see how the remaining trucks line up in the season tally. Let's get right to the action. Jim Davidson standing by for a preview of today's Monster Mayhem.
There's a feeling in the air tonight, and I can't quite put my finger on it. So what do? I go back into the pits and I start talking it over with the drivers, and they all seem to agree that Jacksonville is going to provide some high-flying monster warfare. So when the trucks go airborne, I'll be right here in the pits bringing you all the ups and downs of today's racing action. Speaking of racing action, when it comes to straight-line courses, the higher they fly, the harder they're going to fall, and tonight promises to be no exception to that rule. So, let's go to a guy who's always flying straight and telling it just like it is, our very own Joe Lowe.
Jim, this was the scene just moments ago, qualifying for the Gravedigger, as he goes up the ramp and gets lots of air. He's so high that if he gets much higher, the FAA is going to have to be contacted so he can get permission to land. The crowd is just ecstatic, and they're ready to see more high-flying excitement from the Monsters. Let's take a look at this very, very tough drag-style track, side by side. As we look at the Goodyear track facts, on the starting line, they will have to maneuver a hill and then over two cars. Then down as quickly as possible for the straightaway and the entrance to this, the last set of cars. They need to get up in the air. They may be able to fly way beyond the finish line right here. The first one over the finish line, you got it. That's the winner. We prepare for race number one. Kodiak will face Equalizer. Kodiak is driven by Mark Bendler. He qualified 8th, the time 3.89 seconds. Now, Equalizer and David Morris qualified 3rd with 3.52. You can see there's not much of a gap between these trucks in qualifying. Bendler takes Kodiak up to the starting line to stage for race number one. All systems are go. He looks over at the competition. Last week's winner, Equalizer. And the question is, can Equalizer be our first two-time winner back-to-back on Monster Wars?
I'm getting a bit hot under the collar. And when we ignite in the next race, Kodiak, you're going back, way back to the backwoods where you belong.
Kodiak has been struggling on this very young season. He's had nothing but power problems, and the question is, has he fixed them?
The last two shows, we had problems kicking the front drive shaft loose. We went back, we redesigned a completely new shaft and put that in. It seems to be working well. We're getting a little harder on the throttle each time, and now we're going to go for it.
The trucks are staged. The U.S. Hot Rod official waits to give them the green light. Thumbs up from both drivers. We are ready. Bendler gets a whole shot, but Equalizer comes from behind. Kodiak had the whole shot, but Equalizer had the power, came from behind, and won it. Equalizer takes our first win in Jacksonville. Equalizer took it easy off that first set of cars, and then it was airborne as he sails across the finish line. Kodiak had the great start, and it was almost as if he backed out of it right here. This is where Equalizer catches him in the air. They're already staging for our second race of the day. This matchup between Bearfoot and First Blood.
There's only one thing I like more than fresh blood, and that's fresh bear meat. Bearfoot, when our paths cross, you're gonna want to tiptoe out of the race. 'Cause when I get through with you, you're gonna be red with envy. And the only footsteps you're gonna follow are the ones to your grave.
Jacksonville. They are lined up for race number 2 of round number 1. First Blood, Rob Fuchs doing the piloting aboard the 7th qualifying First Blood. And the world champion Bearfoot is driven by Fred Shafer. He qualified 2nd. First Blood, the big Ford, edges up to the starting line as the U.S. Hot Rod officials bring him up. He is just about staged. And the world champion Bearfoot eyeballs the competition. Fred Shafer wants to check out all the safety systems to make sure everything is all right. Let's check the inside of the truck. He looks like he's ready. The green light will signify the go. There they go! First Blood and Bearfoot opens up the lead. Bearfoot takes out First Blood. The world champion Bearfoot does it again. He waves to the crowd. And this is how it happened. Side by side, Bearfoot turns it on and opens up the lead. This truck not only has the power, it has the incredible suspension needed for a course like this. A lot of hills, but he smooths it out quickly. Our next matchup will feature the Carolina Crusher and the Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson pilots the Gravedigger, one of the most feared monster trucks in the world today. How did they do in qualifying? Carolina Crusher qualified a very respectable 6th. The time, 3.69 seconds. Gravedigger was our fastest qualifier with 3.46 seconds. You saw that Gravedigger qualifying run earlier. And the question is, what is Dennis Anderson going to do in his strategy against the Crusher?
Well, I tell you, Gary's running really good. The track is really kind of a choppy track here. I'm not really too certain. You know, I qualified really well, but I feel like the left lane's the best lane. I'm going to put him in the right lane. I'm going to take the left lane, so maybe I have a little advantage on him, and I think I can pull it off.
Is that strategy going to work? We'll know just seconds from now. Green light, there they go. Over the first set to the second and the finish line. Who won it? Who won it? Was it Digger or was it Crusher? They both appear to go over the finish line at exactly the same time. Side by side in the air. In the air. And I've just gotten word it is a tie. In all my years of racing, I've never seen this. A tie, and we're headed for a monster face-off. A monster face-off between the Gravedigger and the Carolina Crusher.
Gravedigger! Pain is my friend these days, and my buddy and I have come to show you a bad time. Yeah! You can't dishevel me, Crusher. I'm victorious. I'm bigger than life. No, you're lower than life, and I'm gonna knock you right into to the ground! Yeah! Sounds fun!
That's too close to call. The rivalry between Carolina Crusher and Gravedigger continues with this incredible photo finish. We'll have a face-off in just a moment to determine a winner of this round one matchup. But right now, it's time once again for our monster music video. Almost every week, somewhere in America, the U.S. Hot Rod Association is putting on a live show involving a variety of motorsports. We thought it'd be fun to take a look at some of the action that gets people to move this down at these action-packed events.
We're back at the Gator Bowl, and we're ready for the tiebreaker to end all tiebreakers, the mother of tiebreakers, between the Carolina Crusher and the Gravedigger. Both trucks have been here just moments ago. They brought them back after the tie, and this is going to end it right here, right now. The green light will signify the go. Who's going to win it? It's anybody's guess. Digger, red light. Digger red-lighted. Now they're going to throw those times out. Digger red-lighted. He's disqualified. The Gravedigger. Watch the green light. Digger moves. There's the light. Digger moves a split second before the green light, and he is out of here. What a lucky break for Crusher. And Jim is back in the pits with Gary Porter.
Gary, we didn't have to wait very long for the rematch between you and Gravedigger. Almost kind of a deja vu, although this time around it wasn't a tie.
That's right. You know, the first race, I mean, you know, it was a tie. You know, Dennis was running strong. You know, my truck's running strong on this course. And, you know, we, rematch, and, you know, he red lighted, and, you know, it was just, I guess, luck for me.
Well, that was the difference in this one. He knew that you guys were equal at the end of the first one, so he was trying to come out just a little bit too soon.
That's right. He left a little bit too soon. I seen he had red lighted, so I just, you know, backed off a little bit, tried to save my truck.
Don't stop to take a breath yet, because our next matchup is coming to the starting line. This matchup between Wayne Smozanek and Tropical Thunder, our 9th qualifier, and Taurus, driven by Jack Willman Jr. He qualified 4th. Both trucks up at the starting line. Jack Willman Jr.'s Taurus is one of the newer trucks on the circuit, a brand new design for '93, and he takes out Tropical Thunder. An easy win for Taurus.
This Wrangler hit pay dirt, yeah! Tropical Thunder, venture over them there hills. Try raining on somebody else's parade. Taurus kicked your gas.
Jackie Willman had this one won from the start. Over the cars, he mashes the big engine and up and flies over the finish line. Taurus, as the winner, moves on to round 2. Tropical Thunder took a bad hop right at the start. He bounced all over the place, could not line it up properly, and goes across the finish line cockeyed. Even takes out the finish line pole. Taurus with a very sizable win. Tropical Thunder still bouncing all over the place. Here they come as the action continues. Invader, Ray Piorkowski out of St. Louis, Missouri, a very slow qualifying 10th. And the Predator, Alan Pezo's truck, qualifying 5th. Predator has been doing a super job of late, and he faces Invader in a Chevy Ford matchup here in the Gator Bowl. Ray Piorkowski puts the neck brace on. Alan Pezo, look at that shot of the Predator. How'd you like to have that thing come up behind you on the interstate? There they go. Predator, Invader, a very close matchup with Predator getting the win. Predator. It was touch and go at the start, and then he opens it up and crosses the finish line in the air first. Invader seems to have horsepower problems. He makes it over the first set easily, but then when he mashes the engine, it pauses a second, and that's enough time for Predator to get the win. But his time is fast enough to bring him back as one of our 3 fastest losers for round number 2. Invader's coming back, folks.
Losing is bad enough, but a defeat at the paws of that pitiful Predator is an embarrassment of galactic proportions. I'll be back in round 2, and this I vow. First, I will smash the Carolina Crusher. Then I'll set my sights on a rematch with that flesh-eating feline. Predator, eat my space dust. The Invader wants revenge. The Invader wants your hide.
Because you never know. You have to be prepared. Introducing the stun gun from Personal Security. Small enough to fit in a pocket or a purse, powerful enough to stop a lunging attacker with 70,000 volts. You've seen these guns advertised for almost $60, but now you can get the Thunderbolt for only $35. It's safe, non-lethal, and very effective. Protect yourself, protect your loved ones. From the fine family of Personal Security products, Personal Security. Don't be caught dead without it. The Personal Security Stun Gun. Only $35 plus shipping and handling. For MasterCard and Visa orders, call 1-800-275-1507 or send check or money order to Stun Gun. P.O. Box 1693, Cahokia, Illinois, 62206.
You're looking at your Georgia Carpet Outlet store in St. Charles on I-70 west of Noah's Ark. This is GCO in Hazelwood on Lindbergh north of Village Square. And here's the Baldwin store right in front of Grandpa's. When you need carpet, you'll be glad to know where we are because you'll find the same styles others sell for $10 to $35 a yard, GCO price $4 to $14 a yard every day. Look for us in St. Charles, Hazelwood, or Baldwin.
The legend rides again.
Bandit?
In the flesh. With a smoky and hot pursuit.
Since when do we worry about one measly police car?
Or several.
But before they bust the bandit,
it appears as though he was on his way out of our jurisdiction anyway.
They've got to catch him. John Schneider.
He ain't never out of my jurisdiction.
Brian Blue.
All right, brace yourself.
An Action Pack exclusive.
Could get rough, could get tough, could get...
The new Bandit.
Leave it on 11, Monday at 7.
About to begin. The Predator truck is Alan Pezo's creation. The cat-like features ready to pounce on Equalizer. Equalizer, Predator, combined weight over 20,000 pounds. We're talking about over 3,000 horsepower, ready to thrill this crowd here at the Gator Bowl. The green light will give us the go. Thumbs up for Equalizer, thumbs up from Predator. There they go! Side by side, Equalizer takes out Predator. Predator seems to have problems. Predator seemed to have some problems after that first set. The Equalizer is going to the semis.
Oh, yeah. Well, what did I tell you? I'm the one to watch, and as my competitors are finding out, it takes a lot more than hot air to make me run out of steam.
With a puff of smoke, Equalizer is up in the air. guns it again and takes it across the finish line. He's going to the semifinals. Now, that was a flawless run for David. Predator seemed to have his problems. A good start, but he couldn't get any power out of this truck. Equalizer just went right past him. Predator does have problems. The drive shaft in the rear seems to be kicking out some smoke. Speaking of drive shaft, here's a drive shaft that belongs to Kodiak. Kodiak is back. Mark Bendler up in the saddle. This is race number 3 of our second round action. Kodiak's got a tall order to fill. He's going against Taurus. Jack Willman Jr., the former world champion, is up in the saddle. Both trucks are staying. There they go. Taurus plays catch up and gets across the finish line first. He nails Kodiak. Jackie Willman Jr. is taking this truck to the semifinals. Kodiak has problems right after the start. It happens right here over that set of cars. A bad hop. The suspension just doesn't seem to be dialed in for this track. He's all over the place. Taurus, a brand new design truck, a brand new power plant, and things are running flawlessly. That 2,000 pounds of weight in the back of that truck hold down the rear end and keeps him smooth. We have one more race coming up. Bearfoot and Tropical Thunder. The winner goes against Taurus. It's gonna be a rumble.
Woo! It's just like a gunfight at the OK Corral. But I lassoed Kodiak, and now I'll ride off into the sunset of winter. Kodiak, Taurus is the zodiac sign you wish you never met, and that ain't no ball.
Okay. Tropical Thunder is getting ready to take on Bearfoot in their round 2 matchup. You may have noticed some extra cheers from the fans in Florida whenever Tropical Thunder drives by. The state is driver Wayne Smozanek's home turf. And if you look up motorsports fanatic in the dictionary, there's a good chance you're going to find Wayne's picture next to its definition. He started out drag racing several years ago, then pursued his dream of mixing it up with the monsters. It's put him in a sunshine state of mind.
The beaches, the sand, fancy stores, water sports, palm trees, these are all things people think of when they think of Florida, but that's not me. My world revolves around racing monster trucks.
For Florida-based 3-year competition vet Wayne Smozanek, his life, his passions are the 2 big R's. Racing trucks and running his Performance Center Auto Shop. He is the ultimate motorsport fanatic. From stock cars to drag racing to monster trucking, he's done it all.
This has been Wayne's life since he's been young. He's always worked on cars.
Monster truck driving kind of grew on me, I guess. I mean, I didn't really expect to ever get this far into it or get this serious about it.
I've been with Wayne 5 years. When I first met Wayne, we went to a show in Tampa, and he told me, one of these days I'm going to own a truck like that. And I laughed at him. A year and a half later, I guess it was, we had a truck. And I wasn't laughing anymore.
I felt this sport here was definitely growing a lot faster than drag racing. It's a lot more family-oriented sport. You know, we go to a show, we sign autographs, we get to meet the people. It's a lot closer one-on-one relationship than drag racing was.
Wayne races 43 weekends out of the year, and when he's not doing that, he's with Wendy, putting in long 12-hour days at his auto shop.
Performance Center.
But even a die-hard motorsports man like Wayne manages the other 2 R's, resting and relaxing with his friends who are also heavily into the racing thing.
I'm not home a lot of weekends, so weekends I usually come over here and eat some lunch and relax a little bit.
Then it's back to it. Wayne's crew chief Joe is always around, taking constant care of the Tropical Thunder on and off the track.
We built the whole truck together, so
I pretty much know what he's going to tear up or hurt every run, because like he said, we both put the truck together. We know the weak spots of the truck.
Every truck is individual, and everybody builds their own truck. The fact that it can do what it can do, I guess, is a satisfaction within itself. Knowing the truck is as fast as it is because you made it that way.
It's Wayne's dream.
Wayne's dream right now, take Tropical Thunder to the winner's circle and take out the world champion Bearfoot. One of these two trucks is going to the semifinals to take on Taurus, Bearfoot, and Tropical Thunder, the Gator Bowl, Jacksonville, Florida. This is the showdown. They bring Tropical Thunder up to the starting line and then say, let's try it again. Everybody wants to be very sure they don't redline. We've seen that happen twice before. Bearfoot is staged. Fred Shafer strapped in. We're ready. Off they go. Bearfoot takes out Tropical Thunder. Bearfoot just running better than ever. The world champion Bearfoot has that thing won from the very start. Not a turn of the tires was unneeded on this win. No loose dirt, no loose throwing around on the track. This guy was gone. The rocket ship we call Bearfoot is in the semifinals. He's going to take on Taurus. He made easy work of Tropical Thunder, and Fred Shafer is back with Jim.
Fred, you're really tearing it up out there. You just put Tropical Thunder away. He had some problems over the first set of cars, but a good run for you.
Yeah, Tropical Thunder, he's one of the newer trucks out there, and Jim, he's wanting to beat some of the guys that's been around for a long time like me, and he tried real hard, and I think he had just a little driver error there in the second set.
Well, you know, he's going ahead, and he's covering up that little suspension he's got under there. He's trying not to give away his secrets. You're one of the masters of the suspension. The suspension here on this Bearfoot, you get a lot of front-end movement. Maybe you could give him a few pointers.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I think he's still learning, and we're all learning, and as we go along, we'll see how that progresses.
A big wave from the crowd at the Gator Bowl. They're excited, and why not? We've come down to semifinal action. Taurus will go against Bearfoot in our semifinals. And Invader takes on the Equalizer. Ray Piorkowski driving the Invader, ready for the semis. He looks over to see the Equalizer. David Morris taking the Equalizer to task.
When we collide, you'll crumble, Invader. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
I crumble, Crusher, and I'll shock everyone else when I take out Equalizer completely!
The monsters are staged for the semifinals. Invader, Equalizer. Ray Piorkowski turning in an average time of 4.27. Equalizer's 3.82 seconds, considerably faster. But things change in monster truck racing. And can Equalizer make it 3 in a row? We'll find out. Ray Piorkowski doesn't think it's going to happen. He wants to be in the finals. The two trucks sit on the starting line, waiting for the green light. It's thumbs up, and showtime! Side by side, and then Equalizer pulls it out! Equalizer pulls it out with just a scant hundredths of a second between the two of them. Equalizer's in the finals.
Invader gave it his best shot, and I shot him right out of the race. It's time to make another star. Dust.
This track belongs to David Morris here in Florida. He knows how to drive this course up and over, and he is in the finals. Equalizer just running great. Invader has problems on the starting line. The bounce is where it happens. He doesn't have the horsepower to go against Equalizer. Something's wrong with that big Ford.
David, congratulations on a semifinal victory over Invader. Tell me about that one. You seem to keep picking the left lane. I know you like this straight line course, but I guess you favor that left lane.
Right, you know, everybody takes their pick over the lanes, and I feel like I can run better in the left lane, you know, so that's one I'd like to stick with.
Okay, you've beaten Kodiak, you've beaten Predator, you've beaten Invader. Now you're going into the finals. It'll either be Bearfoot or Taurus, and both those guys were up there in the points last year, 1 and 2.
Right, you know, Bearfoot or Taurus, it doesn't matter which one of them you have to run because both those guys are, you know, tough racers.
Who will face Equalizer in the finals? It could be Taurus, but first he's got to get past the world champion Bearfoot. Jim Davidson caught up with Jackie right before the race.
Jackie, you've been spending a lot of time working on the truck in between rounds here. It seems as though, what, a cracked frame first?
Yeah, the frame was broke at first, and then I broke some cracked shock bolts, and then the last time my oil pump was broke, so I've had a little bit of trouble all night. But...
Well, tell me how the engine's running. You got that new McGee in there. You've been running it in 1993. Is it going well so far?
Well, it's not running real good tonight. The air's a little different and stuff, and it acts like the motor's too fat on fuel, so we leaned it way down, and we're just going to give it our best shot.
Sounds like nothing but problems for Taurus, and he's going up against the world champion Bearfoot. He's got to be concerned about that.
Well, now, I've experienced the bad luck of a Chicago. That means newcomer. And Jackie had a tough time, too. But mark my words, as the spirit of the Wild, Wild West courses through my veins, this Wrangler is coming back with a vengeance.
The problem-plagued Taurus prepares to go against the world champion Bearfoot. Taurus, average time, 3.79 seconds. Bearfoot, 3.67. A short but tough course here at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. They are lined up. The green light will give them the go, and it's showtime. Bearfoot and Taurus, and Bearfoot wheelies, three-quarters of the track. Barefoot, I don't know if he was showing off or if he was just excited and went for the win, but he won it on two wheels. Over the line, in the air. Look at this. Woo! High-flying Bearfoot is in the finals against Equalizer. Taurus, he had a good run, but nothing to compare to the world champion. He's going to have to wait to another, more lucky day to take out Bearfoot. Tonight, it's Bearfoot and Equalizer in our finals. The picture tells the story.
Fred, the semis against Taurus, and you're doing a little showboating. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but a little wheelie there in between. Kind of a nifty move. Jim, really wasn't on purpose. Taurus is a real tough competitor, and as you know, when I come over that first set of cars, I put it right to the floor and sit back and let that Dodge motor do the work, and the thing wheel standing on me. I knew I couldn't let off. I just kept my foot in it. You don't let off against people like Taurus, and just luckily we came out real good over the second set of cars, and it was a real good run.
Folks, we're heading to the finals. It's going to be Equalizer and Bearfoot. The war's coming up.
Are you ready to rumble? Bearfoot and Equalizer are. The two monster warriors are getting set for battle. Defending world champion Fred Shafer is driving the big, bad red bear. And David Morris is playing it cool blue in the Equalizer. He's looking to be the first truck to win back-to-back contests in Monster Wars. Joe Lowe, take it home.
They are lined up and ready to go. Bearfoot and Equalizer. How did Bearfoot get here? Well, he had to do a lot of work. He took out First Blood in round number 1, Tropical Thunder in number 2, and defeated Taurus in the semis. Equalizer. He went against Kodiak in round number 1 and came out on top, then Predator in number 2 and took out the Invader in the semifinals. And now it's down to these two trucks. We started with 10, we've brought them down to 2, and in just a few moments, we'll find out who's going to reign victorious, number 1 in Jacksonville, Florida. Bearfoot and Equalizer. Both trucks are staged waiting for the green light. It is showtime! Is Equalizer off the line? Bearfoot battles back! Who won it? Side by side, they go across the finish line. We've seen close matchups here tonight, but this final was something. I'm going to have to see the replay. On the finish line, Bearfoot. Bearfoot may have had him by inches. Equalizer with that lead right on the early start. Bearfoot battles back, and yes, Bearfoot is first across the line. Bearfoot gets the win. A tough break for Equalizer.
In this particular race, Bearfoot got the best of me and rose to the top. But come next week, the others will wish they never came face-to-face with me at all.
What a war we've seen here today. The winner, Bearfoot. Jim Davidson is with the world champ.
Fred, congratulations. I know you're living under the philosophy you can never have too many crowns to your name, but here you are. You won another one. We're in Jacksonville. You're once again champion.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I'll tell you, David Morris, the Equalizer, he's one of the toughest competitors we got out there, and I really didn't know who was going to win this thing. I just give it everything I got.
Well, tell me about that run. You really did mash it the whole way through.
When I came over that first set of cars, I tried to be on the light and come over that first set of cars, and we got just a little bit of bounce to the front end. And when I hit that throttle, the thing just stood on the rear wheels and just kept going. And I knew I couldn't let off. You can't let off against a guy like David Morris. That's it. And we hit the second set of cars nice and square, and it came right out on the front end and just landed perfect.
Where are all these wheelies coming out of?
It's that horsepower and that Dodge motor. I'm getting used to all that power now, and I can put that pedal to the floor now. It's working out real well.
I just think you're a little adrenaline pumped.
Thanks, Jim. I am.
Big win for Fred Shafer. It's his second victory of the season. He moved up to second place overall on our Monster Point scoreboard. Gravedigger vacates the top spot this week due to an early round disqualification. So David Morris now sits atop the Monsters, but only 14 points separate the top three trucks. Taurus is holding steady in fourth place, followed by Predator and Invader. And down at the bottom of the list, First Blood better start sinking his teeth into the battle to make up lost ground. For Jim Davidson and Joe Lowe, I'm Luann Lee. We'll roll back into your home next week and every week for more Monster Wars.
Promotional consideration provided